American political parties, the big two, and then additional third parties that you maybe don't hear about as much. So the first of the two major political parties in the United States is the Republican Party, and Abraham Lincoln is actually considered the founder of the Republican Party. Now, the Republican Party is an overall very conservative party, and they would rather focus on traditional values and upholding those traditional attitudes rather than making change. They're very cautious about change, and they would rather keep things very traditional and very the way that other people in the past have done it, and our founding fathers and our ancestors have ran the government. Rather than creating a ton of change, they would like to focus on what we have been doing and keeping things relatively the same and very, very, very traditional. Now, the other major party, which is the Democrat Party, is kind of the opposite. Andrew Jackson is considered to be this party's founding father, and this party is very, very liberal. So they are very open to new behaviors and opinions and are willing to discard traditional values in favor of these new behaviors and opinions if that's how they feel the government will be better done. Democrats are more open to change than Republicans, and Democrats are more accepting to new ideas and beliefs rather than just sticking with the traditional. So here's a chart of Republican versus Democratic views, and I don't know if you can see, but they are very opposite of each other. Democrat is pro-gun control, Republican is anti-gun control. And this is pretty much a trend throughout the entire political parties. Now, this is just the main focus of each political party, but there are some Democrats who don't agree with some things on the Democrat side. There are some Republicans who don't agree with things on the Republican side. So this is just a very overall basis of the beliefs of the political party. However, every Democrat does not believe everything on there, and every Republican doesn't believe everything on there. It's more of a pick or choose and find which party fits the most things that you have in common with. So Democrats are pro-gun control, which means they would like to limit and restrict the sales of firearms in the United States to potentially protect the United States citizens. They are pro-choice for abortion, so they believe that it's a woman's individual choice whether or not to have abortion. They want increased government involvement, which directly relates to the raised taxes to increase welfare programs. So Democrats are very focused on making sure that everybody in the economy and in America is equal, and they promote that by having many programs to help try and close that wage gap between the lower class and the upper class. And the way they want to do that is to create more welfare programs and have the government be more involved in the economy and the social aspects to help correct that problem. And in order to create these welfare programs, they usually want larger taxes to do so. The Democrats are pro-equal marriage, so they are pro-lesbians, gay people being able to marry whoever they love. They would like a decreased military in the United States, so to lower the amount of military spending that we have and to lessen the amount of troops or tanks or weapons on hand. They are in favor of immigration because immigration helped found America, and they believe immigration would bring a more diverse America. And lastly, Democrats very much encourage change in the government, and they believe our lives change every day as technology increases and government needs to adapt to this. Now, the Republicans' overview is pretty much the opposite. Firstly, they are anti-gun control because they are very strong believers in our Second Amendment right to bear arms. And they believe that limiting this right would very much infringe on the Constitution and them being able to carry arms. As a whole, Republicans are anti-abortion because they believe that it isn't the mother's choice, or not that it's not the mother's choice, but that a mother should not do that because it's often considered murder to these people. the Republican side because it usually conflicts with ethical or moral beliefs. They want decreased government involvement, so they want the government to be even less involved than they already are in the economy, whereas Democrats would like more involvement. Republicans are traditionally more for traditional marriage, so they are, for the most part, not as accepting of equal marriage and more against it, and they're more promote marriage between a man and a woman than between a man and a man or a woman and a woman, because they are very traditional and they would like that traditional view. They would like increased military size and decreased taxes, which, as you can see, is the very opposite as Democrats. Republicans are reluctant about immigration because they don't want as many people coming to the United States, and then that would also create more change. And as we know, they oppose change. So even though the Democrat and Republican parties are pretty much completely opposite, they have two things in common that is a common goal between them. Right now, America is in billions of dollars of debt, and both of these parties agree that that should be alleviated and that we need to lower the debt ceiling. And then they also agree that we need to simplify the American tax code. So now that we've talked about the two main parties, we should probably talk about the various third parties. And there are four main third parties, and the first one is independent. So what an independent is a candidate that doesn't really fill into any particular political party. So rather than running under a Republican or Democrat ticket, they run as a completely different independent candidate where they get to pick and choose what they believe from the Democrat side and from the Republican side, and what they believe from somewhere else entirely. So this is, for each individual independent candidate, it's a new campaign and it's a new set of ideas that they would like to implement, because an independent creates kind of their own campaign based on what they personally would like, rather than just liking the majority of Republican views, so they decide to be Republican. They take that majority of Republican views and say they're for that, and then take any other views that they have and merge it together to create an independent party. And an independent party is not backed by either Democrat or Republican parties. And an independent candidate has relatively been unsuccessful, as we have not had an independent presidential candidate win yet. However, in 1992, Ross Perot was the independent presidential candidate, and he got fairly close to winning. And he had a substantial amount of votes, which surprised a lot of people. So while Ross Perot did not win, him getting so many votes really showed that an independent candidate could stand a chance and potentially be the president one day. The next party is the Green Party, which, as you can tell by the picture of them promoting the earth and flower petals around it, they are very, very focused on environmental issues. And what they really believe is that everybody lives on the earth, no matter what you believe, no matter what you think, no matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or whatever views you have, everybody lives on the earth. And we really need to take care of the earth because that's everybody's home, no matter who agrees with who. Now, the Green Party, in addition to being extremely focused on environmental issues, is based on the social justice, environmentalism, and non-violence. So they really promote peace and everything, rather than promoting their stuff by more violent approaches. They are really focused on non-violence, environmentalism, social justice, kind of just a party that would like to benefit everyone. The next party is the Libertarian Party, which focuses on fiscal conservatism and social liberalism. Each member of the Libertarian Party is kind of respected as a unique individual who has different views. So it's a little bit similar to the Independent Party. However, they are all banded together, and even when the people have different views, the kind of main thing of the Libertarian Party is everybody within that party, despite their differing views, gets along because nobody should have to sacrifice their views for other views. So, if you were to run on a Republican or Democrat ticket, you would pretty much have to say that you support all of the views on either side to potentially be a winning candidate. But here in the Libertarian Party, it's a mix between both of the parties, and you don't have to sacrifice any of your views, and then the Libertarians will still support you because they have their own views. And in this party, it's really, you don't have to give anything up. All you do is believe what you would like, and everybody else believes what you would like, or they would like, and you don't have to sacrifice any views, and everybody can have a different view. Now, the last main political party is the Constitution Party, and this party strives to secure unalienable rights for everyone. So our God-given birthrights, as they are called, when we are born, we get our rights, and this party helps to secure those rights. They strive to solve the modern issues by looking back at founding documents. So rather than creating new solutions to things, they strive to look for these solutions to modern problems in the documents written by our founding fathers. And that really goes with the name Constitution Party. So those were the descriptions of the two main parties, and then 4 of the independent parties that are maybe not heard of as often.